Welcome back. It's the Florida Gambling Boys. We are live. Yes, live on YouTube for the first time tonight. A historical, monumental moment in our channel's history. But yes, we are live, so hopefully a lot of you can join in, watch, chat if you like. We'll be glad to answer any questions. Hey, if you want to kick in the super chat or two, we're always open for that.
I don't know if you watched it the last 2 weeks, but how you like our new microphones? This is big time.
Such the professional setup now.
Yeah.
We do have a lot
I feel
to
like
cover.
I have to open my mouth a lot wider.
We do have a lot to cover this week, so let me introduce our cast of characters. The Professor Brent Stein is not with us this week, but joining us again this week is Super Dave Kreitz. Dave, welcome.
It does exist.
And to my left, the man, the myth, the legend, it is Midwest Tommy Tice. Tommy, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm good. I am your host, the magnificent one. It is Sean Mayall. So let's get into a couple things here. Dave was not on the show last week to make picks, but he's coming back with a six-pack this week that he's ready to fire away on.
Locked and loaded.
That's going to put him right back, so he's caught up with everybody. I got to ask Tom, how'd you make out on your picks last week?
I was 1 and 2, and I did not have a sleeper pick, so I had a bad week.
Okay. Well, you know, these
I
things
got
happen.
smoked in with that damn Maryland, Connecticut.
Yeah, I tried to warn you because
Well, here's the thing, though.
somebody was on the other side.
Well, but it's funny because it's so hard this time of year.
It is.
Especially with the transfer portal. You know, we don't know who brought in what, and we don't know how quickly they're going to mesh.
That was
And-
more of just a fade of UConn because I think they're still awful. The quarterback plays awful. The skill.
2 years ago, it was a really good football team. They
Look,
won eight.
Jim Morris Jr. is
Yeah.
trying his ass off to build that program
Yeah,
back up.
I guess I put my dime on Mora, and I won't do it again.
That's okay.
But I will say one thing: I thought that Maryland team played really, really well.
Yeah, Billy Edwards, the quarterback there, looked really sharp.
Yeah, not only that, but the defense is fast. They're undersized. When they get in the Big Ten play against the Michigans,
It may hurt him.
the Penn States, the Ohio States, the Iowas, they're undersized on that front seven.
I gotta ask you, did you take the Huskies or the Slow Turtles?
We're not even in the picks yet. So what are you talking about?
I did
Last
take.
week
I did take the
Against
Terps.
the Huskies
This one
or the
took.
Slow Turtles.
This one took the Huskies.
I took the
But if you
Hey.
didn't watch last week's show, feel free to go back and find it on YouTube. I did go 4-1 last week, 2-0 on my underdogs. Just saying, just throwing that. They're 5-1 on the year, so we're off to a good start.
But as a collective group, we're making you money, so
That's
don't
it.
worry about it.
That's it.
It's just
That's
who you
it.
want to listen to right now. Right now, it's
And
not
look,
my
we're going to
thing.
get into college. We're going to get into pro with our best bets of the week and our top plays, whether it's against the spread, over-unders. We're going to have them all for you. But again, the NFL will be very difficult this week because, again, we don't know anything about most of these teams.
Right.
But these teams show nothing in the preseason, sit most of their starters, and now you come out and here are the lines, and you got to go firing at them. So it's not easy. Now we get into week 2. Forget week 0 and that garbage in college football. Although Florida State, I love it.
My goodness. The two Florida top teams.
Well, we don't want to talk about Florida. We'll just talk about Florida State. How much
They're
they
both
suck.
0-2 right now.
Well, the Gators are only 0-1.
0-1, but yeah. Okay.
There's only
But-
one.
Oh,
There's
3
only one
between the
team
two.
2-0, and they should be the best team in the nation.
Well,
Georgia Tech.
They have 2 wins.
Yeah.
Nobody else has 2 wins.
well,
So,
well, if you want to go
sorry.
on that premise,
Just-
then yes.
Sorry
yeah.
about your luck, but
They're number
they've
one
got
seed,
2
and
wins.
They're going to beat Michigan.
They're the 1
and
seed.
They're the number 1 seed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, in all honesty, we're going to have some great picks for you this week, both college and pro. And so let's dive into it right now. We've already recapped last week. We don't need to talk about it. Look, you made money, you lost money. This is the week to get it back. Weeks 2 and 3 are huge weeks in college football. A lot of, now with the changes in conferences, we have a lot of intra-conference matchups, but we still have a lot of outer-conference matchups. And we got some good ones. And where else can I start but in the Big Ten with Texas going to the Big House, taking on Michigan. And this is a weird line. The line opened at 3.5 on Sunday night. That line, as of right now, is 6.5. Texas laying the points on the road at the Big House in a noon kickoff. So I'm going to defer to the Michigan man, Super Dave. Where are we at on this game, Dave?
There's a lot to be said about this game. Texas has a long trip north. They come into the Big House where we reside as the national champion.
I think he's got a mouse in his pocket.
Yeah, no kidding.
A little bit. We looked unconvincing against Fresno State offensively.
Very vanilla.
We looked very vanilla, as Sharon Moore did against Penn State last year, as Sharon Moore has done as the interim head coach.
Now, is that vanilla hiding stuff for Texas this week?
That vanilla is just, we're playing Fresno, we're keeping our cards close
it
to our
simple.
vest.
You get
Keep
a
it
very
simple.
Fresno-style game plan and offense.
It is what it is.
How
I
did-
expected more from Alex Orji.
I did
I
too.
expect to see more
I did
from
too.
Alex Orji.
With his size and his speed, yes, but he showed me nothing in his ability to throw the football down the field.
They didn't show anything because they didn't run any long pass plays.
No.
When you look at that entire offense, they were trying to hit split ends over the middle, and they were throwing the running backs.
Yeah, Donovan Edwards on a little
Yeah,
flare across the
they
middle.
didn't
boom.
do anything downfield. I'm telling you, Michigan, not only are they going to cover, they're going to win. And I'm an Ohio State guy. They're going to cover and win.
Mullings averaged 6.1 yards per carry.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, they can still run the football. There's no question about that.
He toted the rock. Edwards had 7 carries, 2.5 yards, 2.7
Yeah, he had 7
yards.
carries. He had 7 carries for like 39 yards or something like that.
Yeah.
But he wasn't giving the ball a lot.
But we didn't show you
Nothing.
anything.
Mark my
So-
word, Edwards this week will be throwing the ball
He has
in
to.
the open field.
He's their game
And
breaker.
he's going to be throwing the ball in space.
All right,
and
Dave.
that's going to be the difference in this game. Edwards will be the difference in this game.
Dave, let me ask you this. Is this going to be one of your picks, your top 6 picks? Because if it is, I don't want you to give it away right now.
I'm not going to go. I won't go down the line then.
Okay.
I've got a couple stats. We
When
held
it
our
comes
cards.
time for pick time, you can give those stats
They're one
out.
of my 3.
And
Michigan's
just
one of my 3.
amaze the viewers on what-
I'm not even going to lie to you. They're one of my 3.
Okay.
I told you last Sunday. I said I got Michigan all day.
Tommy,
I can't go into it.
Let
I
me
just
ask
can't go
you,
into it.
Yeah.
I gotta
of
leave
all the
it.
matchups this week, what intrigues you the most?
What game intrigues me the most? I like Kansas going to Illinois and winning that football game. Illinois is getting 6.5. I know Illinois is under this great new restructuring plan. This Kansas team, we've talked about it
It's
before.
good. They're
it's
good.
a good football team. I like them going into Illinois, and I like them covering a 6.5. I look at that as about a 35 to 21, 24 football game.
I think, and I've done some research on breakdowns on this game, my problem is, and I want to back Kansas, I can't, because they were not good against the number on the road last year.
They were not, but
And
you
they
know what?
returned a lot of starters. It's the same coaching, same program.
14 starters back. that could change.
To me, it's either Illinois or no play.
But here's the thing: when you're a senior laden team like Kansas is, and you've been through the road flaws that you had a year before and still went 8-4,
Yeah.
I think you can learn how to. They've learned how to win on the road. This game will catapult them in the Big 12.
Yeah, this isn't a Coach Mangino Kansas team. It's a different team.
But here's the thing, though. This is a game that sets them apart in the Big 12. It puts them over here.
Is
Okay?
it enough to catapult them past Utah?
Not yet.
Which I think is one of the more interesting games of the week with Baylor
Well, that's
going
gonna be a
into
good game.
Utah,
Yeah.
getting 21 and a half. Now, look, I'm a huge Cam Rising fan.
You think Utah covers that now?
Rice Eccles Stadium is a death. It's just one of the worst places to play for a visiting team. I don't care how many number one teams, whether it's USC or why, they go into Rice Eccles Stadium in Utah and get smoked.
It's not about who's going to win. We know Utah's going to win.
I
It's
don't
about
know.
the
I
number.
think Baylor. They were horrible last year. They were 3-9.
It's about the number. Do they cover the 21?
I don't know. That number may just be a little too big for me to lay with Utah.
I don't know that it is, because how much better did Baylor get? I looked at their transfer portal stuff last night, and I'll
They
be
looked
honest
okay
with you.
last week, but
But it wasn't a great transfer portal class. And as far as recruiting freshmen, we know freshmen don't win football games.
correct.
Especially on the road. Okay? And I just don't see that big of an improvement in Baylor. Dave, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Utah on the defense. Everything I saw last year, the way they play,
Yeah.
I believe they cover the spread. That defense just holds Baylor down.
They do. It's not
just
one of my picks.
holds them down.
I'm very intrigued by the game.
It's
I
not
really
one of my.
am.
It's
but
not one
I,
of my picks, but
I
boy,
can't make it. Here's
I just
one.
don't. I can't say Baylor's going to do anything because I haven't seen Baylor do anything since.
Here's one that
3 years.
definitely intrigued me.
2020.
Any thoughts from either you two on Arkansas, who put up a 70 burger on Arkansas Pine Bluff,
Pine Bluff, yeah.
but they were impressive, getting 7.5 in Stillwater against Oklahoma State. Now, Oklahoma State beat South Dakota last week. It was not dominant.
I'm going to be honest. I do not know enough about those teams
Okay.
to put my money on that. I just don't. I didn't watch either one of them play last week, so I don't like that. I don't like that pick.
That is a play for me this week.
Okay.
And I'll give that out. Dave, you have any thoughts on that?
I'll say it this way. I'm a man. I'm 40.
That's right. Isn't he about 60
And-
now, though, with a
No,
mullet?
well, I mean, he's getting there. He's embarrassed his kids with a haircut and everything
oh, my
else.
God.
But the SEC versus the revamped Big 12, Arkansas, however you want to say it, however you want to play it. I think Van Gundy's on his way out.
Pig
I
suey!
think he's played his way.
Out of Oklahoma State, yeah.
Just there's not enough
Yeah.
competition. He can't compete with what the portal is. He's a coach that's maybe not this year,
He's in
But-
limbo.
but nobody wants to hire him with everything that's
I don't
going
even know
on
at this age
historically.
anybody wants to hire him.
He's in limbo.
Maybe
so,
he can go to
you know,
LSU
yeah.
and replace Brian Kelly.
That's not
Wow.
even
Too
close.
soon?
Not even
Too
not
soon?
even close.
Paging
If he's
Mr.
go- if he-
Kelly.
if he's
Can
going
we see you
anywhere,
in the
it's Middle
Chancellor's office,
Tennessee
please?
State.
Yeah.
I'll touch on two more games. Look, there's so many. We could run through and sit here for 3 hours. Any thoughts on Tennessee, NC State being played neutral site in Charlotte?
I did not really take a deep delve look at that game. I focused my stuff on, once again, the Big Ten
Big
and
Ten,
the
the
MAC.
MAC, yeah.
So to me, I didn't really take a hard look at that game.
I have a lean towards Tennessee this week. I
Okay.
really do. After what I saw from their offense, I think they're going to put up points. Their defense looked respectable. And we've talked about it before, Tom. NC State just finds new ways to disappoint every
Well, you know,
single
you and I
year.
have, for 2 years when we did our previous podcast,
Yeah.
2 years in a row, you and I looked at each other and said, boy, we were like NC
Well,
State
they could
this
be
year.
a sleeper to get in the playoff.
They could be one of those Final Four teams.
Then they're 8-4, 9-3.
And every year they're 9-3. We looked at each other at the end of the year going, you know what, we did it again. We fell for them again.
To me, there's only one team that comes out of the ACC.
And that's Miami.
Miami.
That is correct.
Yep.
Even after 1 week, they're so far ahead.
No, it's simply Cam Ward looked unaffected at any point in time.
He's a difference maker.
Yes.
He is a difference maker. They don't have anybody currently ranked for the rest of the season. NC State playing Tennessee. Tennessee looks improved. And I can't name the players, but the offense they put up, it looks like they may have a sleeper Heisman for next year playing quarterback. I can't remember his name. But Tennessee looks like they have the next Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, I can't pronounce his last name. His first name is Nico.
Yes.
Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I don't want to offend anybody.
I can't pronounce
it. Or whatever his last name. Yeah.
I saw it. I saw the stats, and I was like, they can play defense. The SEC is in turmoil, with the exception of a couple teams we can talk about later. But
again, that's a pick for me. I'm gonna lean to a upper echelon SEC team over a middle of the road ACC team, and I think that's a game.
I don't think
really
NC State is middle of the road.
I do.
I think
when you look at the ACC, I think
Tennessee's going to smoke them.
Tennessee's going to beat them. But when you look at NC State and in the turmoil that the ACC's in right now, as bad as FSU's look, I mean, I just think they might be that third or fourth best team in the ACC. But does that make them better than most of the SEC schools? Probably not.
I don't know about
Probably not. I think Tennessee wins this game.
So look, we're going to we have all of our college picks coming up. We have our underdog of the week. I may be smelling.
I didn't.
What does that smell? Maybe a dog that's traveling up to Tuscaloosa this weekend. Coming from the Tampa Bay area. It might be. Stay tuned, and we'll have more. Once again, guys, we're going to get into our NFC preview here. Always remember, we're here at the Seabreeze Lounge in Palm Harbor, Florida, right off US 19, 30625 US 19 North.
That is correct.
Great food, great drink specials, cold beer, Sunday ticket, all the games, and a great group of people that are in here. You can't go wrong. So, hey, come check it out if you're in the area. Thank you very much to the owners, Terry and Karen, for letting us do our show here every week. But if you're in the area, come check it out. It'd be much appreciated. Having said that, let's get into a bit of an NFC preview as we switch gears and go to the NFL. Let's talk some NFC. And I don't want to get bogged down, but let's basically talk what our playoff teams are, division winners, and go from there. Dave, I'll start with you.
Division winners, I haven't really gone that far down. What I have for you today is my personal playoff prediction.
Okay, we can go with that.
So
So give me your 7 playoff teams.
So, 16 teams, right? Per the ESPN Football Power Index, this is how I've based it. At number 6, we have the Green Bay Packers. We have the Green Bay Packers at 6. At number 4, we have the Atlanta Falcons winning the NFC South.
Interesting.
Yep.
This is going to get going a little out of order. Just
So you're
because.
skipping 7 and 5.
Skipping 7-5 for a reason.
Okay.
Because at number 2, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. And at number 1, I have the Detroit Lions.
Yep.
Now, you went to school in Michigan, right? Growing up?
I went to school in Michigan. I went to school in Florida.
I don't know what the school systems are like in Michigan, if they had any issues with counting, if they went from 1, 2, 4,
However you want to do it,
6.
there's 2 teams that are going to make it in that weren't there last year.
Always happens.
One of those, obviously, the Atlanta Falcons. Number 1, the Detroit Football Lions
Got that?
will take the 1 seed. Let's pump the brakes, call it 12-5, maybe 11-6.
Okay, and you got the Eagles too.
And I got the Eagles too.
So who hits 3?
The Los Angeles Rams take the 3rd seed.
Winning the West?
Winning the West, taking the 3rd seed, which puts San Francisco the first in as a wild card at 5. And at number 7, the Washington Commanders.
So I'm not going to
somehow
knock you.
sneak
I'm not
in.
going to knock you on the Commanders at all because
not
they're a
gonna knock
very
you on the
trendy
Commanders.
pick.
It's
Again,
not one of
course-
my choices. But
No, but then,
That's
look,
fine.
with Jaden Daniels there, I mean, you don't never know what's going to happen if he just catches fire.
Jaden Daniel, Dan Quinn is going to take a Ron Rivera defense and fix it with a Jaden Daniels quarterback and a Scary Terry
Yeah, you got
McLaurin.
Scary Terry, but do they have the running game? Do they have the rest of the skill
Austin
positions?
Eckler, Brian Robinson.
Yeah, but Austin Eckler can't stay healthy. That's
That's
my
the
biggest
thing,
problem
yeah.
with him.
Austin Eckler doesn't have to stay healthy with.
And Brian Robinson's not an every down back. He hasn't proven that.
He's not. But I truly believe the Giants are trash.
Giants were one of the top 5 worst
and
teams in football.
that might be the worst roster I've seen in the last 20
Yes.
years.
And Mike McCarthy will finally get fired from Dallas. Is where I'm kind of going with this, and
I
that's
ju-
how
Okay.
Washington sneaks into. I know Chicago's a big Caleb Williams pick. I think Jaden Daniels sneaks in.
No faith
Somehow.
no faith in the Bucks here in Tampa, right?
Faith in the Bucks, but I think Todd Bowles is also the next one to get. If I had to pick 3 coaches to get fired this year, Dayball, Bowles, and Mike McCarthy.
Damn, I was hoping you'd say Mike Tomlin. But that's a story
yeah.
for another day.
That's a whole other day.
All right, so and those are your picks. That's fine.
I was gonna say.
And the
let's
NFL's an
talk
incredibly long
AFC.
season.
That's a different story.
But it was
Right.
funny. The NFL. I mean, the NFL's an incredibly long season. And I'll be honest with you. I don't disagree with anything you said there. I just have different choices.
So let's hear your top 7, your playoffs.
Well, I'm not talking top 7. I'm talking NFC West. I got San Fran winning that division
Okay.
at 12-5. I got Seattle sneaking in at 10-7, getting a wild card.
Okay.
Okay. AFC North. Detroit's obviously going to win that division. I don't think there's any issues about that at all. I think them and San Francisco could both be that 11-6, 12-5 team, and depending on who they beat and what goes on, it's a difference with who gets the number 1 seed and who doesn't. Minnesota's going to be 8-9. I think Chicago goes about 7-10. I think they make improvements. I think they get a little bit better. I don't think they're much better than 7-10. The East.
Now you left somebody out, and that was the Packers.
I like Green Bay. I got 9-8, but I don't think I have them in the playoffs.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll tell you why in a minute. I have the Eagles and Dallas both going 11-6. I have Washington 7-10. I got the Giants at 4-13. That's a horrible roster. In fact, they'll be lucky to win 4.
I was going to say that. Yeah, I agree.
But then you jump over to the South, and this is where I got really tricky with the South. I looked at the schedules. I looked at interdivisional play, and obviously it's 3 on the road, 3 at home, blah, blah, blah. I think all those teams are going to go 3-3 in the division. But I have Tampa, Atlanta, and New Orleans all going 9-8. And then I have a horrible Carolina team going 6-11. But an improving Carolina team. So the playoffs are going to come down to San Fran, Seattle, Detroit and Green Bay, Eagles and Dallas, and then Tampa, Atlanta, and New Orleans. So you got about 8 or 9 teams right there, and you're only going to take 7 of them. So it's all going to come down to tiebreakers and who beats who.
You're going to take 3 out of the South.
No, I'm not taking 3 out of the South. I didn't say that. I said they would all go 9-8. I don't know who's going to get in. We only may get 1 out of there.
Yeah, I think you're only getting 1 out of there,
But
and that's where I'm going. Atlanta. Kirk Cousins. I got to look. How many day games does Kirk Cousins have?
Here's the thing with Kirk Cousins.
he has.
If Kirk Cousins is standing on game 17, they
That's a
win that
miracle.
division.
That's a
And they
miracle.
win that division.
If Kirk Cousins has 12 1 o'clock games, He goes 12 and whatever else.
I think they have. I think
He
they
is-
have 10 or
he
11
is-
1 o'clock games this year.
Here's the thing with him. It's all about him standing.
That's 10 wins.
It's all about him standing on January 6th or 8th or 9th, whatever that last week is. If he's standing, he's throwing passes, then they're probably the division winner. But we haven't seen that in a long time.
All right.
I think this Tampa defense is really good. But my problem with Tampa is because Baker Mayfield, and as a Browns fan, I've seen him in the past, he's never put two really good seasons together.
Oh, we're going to see real quick.
So we're going to find out this year if Baker can put that second season,
Okay.
with last
I
year's
see that.
good season.
So I'm going to say on my end, I'll start in the South. I don't think New Orleans is that good. I have no faith in Derek Carr. Michael Thomas is gone. Kamara's getting old. Yeah, I do like Chris Olave. The defense is still good under, obviously a defensive coordinator as a head coach.
Dennis Allen is no
Dennis
Sean
Allen,
Payton.
yep.
Here's the thing, you don't
I
have to be
still
that
think
good to go
I still
9-8.
think Tampa wins that division, and here's why. Cousins, I'm just not a Kirk Cousins fan. I never have been.
No.
Now, what do you play? Like Dave said, 1 o'clock, he's magical.
Yep.
But their defense is soft. The front four is garbage. The secondary is garbage.
That's why I like Tampa in this division, because I think their
Jason,
defense is really
Jason Bates.
Well, their
The safety they
secondary, the
signed,
Bucs secondary
Jason
is
Bates,
legit. With
is a
Winfield
monster.
and Whitehead and all
good. They
these
brought
guys.
in some guys on defensive line. That's what's going to have
My,
to happen.
my worry about Tampa, the Devin White loss could be huge.
Yep.
If he plays like he was last year, where he was an emotional malcontent, then the Eagles can have him because he's
Right.
garbage. If he reverts back to his first 2-3 years, Eagles
they
got to
went to the
steal.
Super Bowl,
Eagles
yeah,
got to steal
for sure.
But I'm going to say my fear with the Bucs is their edge rushers are maybe some of the worst in the league. Now maybe Elijah Canty turns into
I like Candy's in what, third year now?
second year, I think.
Second,
Yeah,
third,
they
yeah.
took him out of Pitt. Yeah,
Yeah, I like him to have a breakout year. I do.
we can only hope. Vita Vea will get his numbers.
Vita Vea is going to plug up the middle and get his number.
Yeah, and they'll
We
stop
know
the
that.
run, but can they rush the passer? So let's go on. So I think it's Tampa out of the South.
Before we go that far, Todd Bowles doesn't know how to manage the clock.
He is not the
Does
best at
not
that.
know how to manage the
He is
clock.
not a
No.
great.
He gave the Lions a win on a kneel down with 30 seconds left when he could have gotten the ball at.
And
last
another
year.
big thing with Tampa is Dave Canales is gone.
Correct.
And that was Baker had a great relationship with him.
But
Can
the
they
new
move
coordinator
forward?
coming in, Baker has worked with in the past.
Correct. Yes.
So I'm
I'm
thinking
hoping there's some
there
continuity there.
should not be that big a drop off, but we never know. Once again, we're dealing with Baker year 2 at a program.
Yeah. I go to the East. I sadly have the Eagles winning it.
Yep.
And I think the
Agreed.
Cowboys come in second. I'm not as high on the Redskins as Dave is.
They're not the Redskins.
Might they surprise some people and go 7-10?
They are now the Commanders.
Yeah, but they'll always be the Redskins to me. Whether that's PC or not. Yes, the Commanders. We'll say it for the YouTube audience.
I
out
wish
there.
they were still the football team.
Me too.
Personally, the fact that they were
Washington
actually the
football
football
team.
team.
Washington
That was a
football
great
team.
name.
Yeah.
I loved
How,
it.
yeah. How do you change that?
And we're all on the same page. The Giants are absolute garbage.
Worst team in football.
So I do have the Eagles winning it, Cowboys getting a wild card, Bucks winning the
Carolina's
South.
worst team in football.
In the Central, I do have the Lions winning it, and I think the Packers are a playoff team. So that's 5. We got 2 spots left, and I'm going to go with the Niners winning the West and the Arizona Cardinals to sneak in there and get a wild card spot.
that seems to be like the big national love affair is Arizona right now. I still like Seattle.
I'm not. When we talk quarterback play in this league and what a key it is, Geno Smith 2 years ago, lights out.
Right.
Last year, not so much. They missed the playoffs. Can he do it again? And look, they still have Lockett. They still have Metcalf. They still have a lot of good talent, skill talent out there. The defense is very vanilla. It's no Legion of Boom anymore. So
It's not even close to the Legion.
But they have a great home field advantage, but I still think it's the Niners are the cream of the crop. And we're probably looking at something in a round robin of Niners, Lions, Eagles in the NFC Championship. But that's
It's one of those three.
That's a long way down the road.
It's a way long way down, but I'd like to, the Lions are just solid. It's a great roster. Good
Well,
coach.
what impresses me is their defense this year. Is their pass
Yeah.
rush
Well-
is filthy. They got
But the
some
problem
corner
is,
play.
they got a little bit tougher schedule this year. But I still like them going 11-6, maybe 12-5.
Yeah.
I'd like them a lot. If they, all things being equal, if they stay healthy, might be the best team in the NFC.
And the Bears are probably a year or two away, but I think Caleb Williams will make football fun again in Chicago.
He's going to go 7-10, maybe 8.
Those fans haven't had anything to cheer about. Their quarterback play has been awful for the past 30-some years.
Fully agreed, but Caleb Williams ain't taking you to the promised land year one.
Oh, no.
Where you go with the Lions having the best roster in the NFL, provided we can stay healthy and the young talent actually shows up,
I agree with
I'll
you.
agree with that.
Yeah.
The best roster in the NFL, I truly believe, is San Francisco.
It's a good roster.
The reason I put them at 5 overall in the playoffs is you've played it so much.
You really
You've
think
been
the
there,
Rams can
you've
take the
been there.
division over the Niners?
I think Matt Stafford is coming out slinging.
Comeback player of the year. Here he comes.
Well, the other thing I will
Well,
say to
no,
you,
comeback player of the year. I got a chubby for him. And he's coming back from a nasty knee injury. He's not comeback player of the year. Matt Stafford can keep the Rams relevant.
I'm not
I
saying
think
I'm
Sean,
not disagreeing
I think
with you
Sean
one
McVay can
bit.
take the Rams to Coach of the Year potential because you got Cooper, Puka,
I'm almost thinking that the league may
Blake
have caught
Corum is coming
just
on.
a little bit to Sean McVay and his style. And
here's the
scheme.
thing about San Francisco, and I kind of agree with you to some degree. I chose them because of what they've done the last 5 years, but that is an aging roster.
But I've seen it,
It's
and
an
I've seen it, and I've
aging
seen it,
roster,
and
yeah.
the window is slightly
right,
closing.
that's what I'm talking about.
Closing.
Closing.
That's what I'm
Crushing
talking
your
about.
head.
That's what I'm talking about with the age. And after this year, if they don't make that run this year at Super Bowl, when you look at
Oh,
the
blow the
salary
team up.
cap,
Blow that team
when
up.
you look at the salary cap that they got going on next year, and the guys that are, that front seven, I think they average like 31.6 years.
Oh,
per
with
man.
Fred,
it's-
what am I thinking of? The Fred number 95, the linebacker.
Warner.
Fred Warner.
Yeah, you got Warren. It's
Bosa.
like- yeah.
The nose tackle that they got from the Eagles, who was with the Steelers.
Yeah.
Can't think of his name. And now you just re-up Ayuk
Yep.
and
A lot of
Trent
money in
Wi-
a very short
Trent
window.
Williams. I mean, jeez, man.
Yeah, they put a lot of money in some guys.
All right, so we'll come back to the NFL. We want to transition right now to our college football picks of the week. It's a big week. It's week 2. What we like to is this a week where teams get overlooked, or are they over-evaluated? Are teams sleeping on some of the lesser teams? There's a lot of potential to make some money out here this week. And as always, we advise we gamble smart out there. Don't gamble above your head.
Except for me.
Well, except for Dave, because
lose.
he's a
I lose.
multi-Brazilian.
I lose all the time, so don't listen.
Dave, you weren't here last week. We're going to start with your six-pack in week 2 of the NCAA.
Yeah, let's roll. We got like 10 minutes, so
Yep.
let's make it quick.
Got it. All right. First game I got, Iowa State. Iowa has scored 40 points in the season opener. Iowa State has never beat Iowa in Kinnick Stadium when they were a ranked team. The over-under is 35.5. Iowa is favored by 2.5. I am taking Iowa to cover and the over because Cade McNamara started last week, threw 3 touchdowns, had 251 yards. They scored 40 points. That covers my over-under. That's going to cover Iowa State. Call it a day. The next one, Bowling Green, Penn State. Penn State is given 34.5 points to Bowling Green. The over-under is 48.5. James Franklin, 10-0 versus MAC teams. But the Falcons have lost 4 games to Power 4 conference opponents only by 22.5. Bowling Green covers the spread 41-7. Bet the under. Penn State doesn't cover the spread. Bowling Green makes it happen. Ole Miss, Middle Tennessee. The Rebels scored 76 on Furman. The Blue Raiders' first-year head coach knows plenty about Ole Miss from coaching in the SEC. Ole Miss wins, doesn't cover, but let's go under Ole Miss 49-10. My alma mater, South Florida, travels to Tuscaloosa as previously talked. USF only lost to Alabama 17-3 last year. Alabama's given 31.
Much improved USF team, by the way, too.
Much improved. But we're going to Alabama, and Jason Milroe has a lot to prove after he lost to Michigan because he couldn't handle the snap and so on and so forth. USF covers the spread. We lose 17-45. Cover the under at 63 and a half.
Yeah, that's a high under. Over-under for that.
Now, I have to say, the Mountaineers are traveling to Death Valley. Appalachian State goes to Clemson. Clemson is reeling from a 34-3 loss to Georgia last week. Dabo Swinney doesn't believe in the transfer portal. App State is 9-3-1 against the spread against Power 5 opponents or Power 10 opponents since 2019. The Mountaineers not only cover the spread, they beat them outright in Death Valley and put the second nail in Dabo's coffin.
Oh, that's a big
Is
hit.
that your underdog of the week right there?
34-32, and stop talking to me about how App State beat Michigan with Brady Hoke or whoever the hell it was back in the day.
Dave, is that your underdog of the week?
Yeah.
That's gotta be my dog of the week.
Okay.
Dog of the week.
And I have one left that we can agree to disagree on. Michigan looked unconvincing last week against Fresno State. I understand it. We're keeping cards to the vest. We got Mullings, who averaged 6.1 yards per carry. Texas had Ewers going out there and throwing what? I don't know, like 200.
Against the crappy Colorado State team.
Yeah, he was 20 for 27, 260 yards, 3 touchdowns against Colorado State.
And we got to see Arch Manning.
But he
Finally.
He had a 71.9 QBR. That ain't going to hold up in the big house against a Michigan defense if we can produce a turnover or two with the best DB in the nation.
All right, that's a six-pack from
defense
Dave.
will decide this game. Michigan beats Texas. And the first thing you think about when you wake up and the last thing you think about when you go to bed is the team.
No, it's a good
The
football
team.
team.
Dave,
The team.
that's a good six-pack. Welcome to the party. A lot of great information. My man's bringing it with the stats this week, and a lot of good information for you gamblers out there to recognize. So make sure you follow his plays this week. Tommy, you want me to go? Or you want to go? Let's go.
I'm going to
Let's
run
go
real
Tom.
quick. We had a text here from one of our good friends of our show, Bill Carey. And Bill wants to know what we think about the Steelers line so we can collectively talk about this. The Steelers are getting 3.5 at Atlanta. I kind of like Atlanta in this game. I don't know what else you guys think about it real quickly here.
So I do have a play on this game. It won't be the spread.
Okay?
I think, obviously, as a Steelers fan, I don't bet Steelers games, so I
Right.
will not bet the point spread in this game.
Right.
But if I were to throw a shekel or two on it, and I'm getting 3.5 with a team, no team travels better than the Steelers when it comes to the opponents.
Correct.
I mean, you'll have 35, 40,000 Steelers fans in the Georgia Dome.
Right.
I think there's got to be some nerves with Cousins. A great Steelers defense this year against an adequate offensive line. Yeah, they got to stop Drake London and Pitts and Bijan. But I have no faith in the Steelers quarterback play yet. Not saying down the road I might be thrilled with it. But
Yeah, I like Atlanta in this game.
I do have a play on the total. That'll be one of my plays of the
Yeah,
week.
I like
so.
Dave real quick.
Kirk Cousins, 1 o'clock at home in a dome.
Yeah.
Fly, Falcons fly.
Fly, Falcons, fly.
I don't know. I don't remember the Dirty Bird from back in the
Oh,
day.
Jamal Anderson.
But I'm gonna. Sorry, Kirk's got weapons, and really, who you got? Russell Wilson, Justin Fields.
Yeah,
Which
like I
one
said,
you want?
I'm a Steelers fan. I'm not sold on the quarterback.
Right now-
I know I got Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I know I got Bijan.
I'm taking
I know
Kurt
I got
over those
London.
other two.
I know I got Pitts.
Yeah.
I know I got Jason Bates.
But I'm going to take
and I know they're
Pittsburgh's
playing home.
defense to make a difference in this game.
It's going to be a low-scoring game.
So, well, there was where you lie on one of my picks of the
the
week.
over-under is 42.
That I'll get to that.
That's an under.
But yes, that is
Okay,
one of my picks.
me real quick on college. This
Yeah,
week,
I'll take an under.
it's just one of those weeks. I didn't see a lot I liked, but I like Kansas beating Illinois. Illinois is getting 6.5.
Are you going to make me go against you again this week?
I like Kansas going out to Illinois and beating them.
Damn you.
I love it. I love it. And I'm going to
Okay.
tell you another one. I like Nebraska minus the 7, Colorado, at Colorado. I think Nebraska goes in there. Matt Rule, this is his game that puts him over the top.
Matt Rule finally has a 5-star quarterback.
Yes. Raiola's going to have a hell of a game this week against that
His
defense.
daddy went
I
to
forgot
Nebraska.
about-
His
I
daddy
forgot
was an
about Matt
all-pro
Rule.
lineman for the
And
Lions.
he's going to have that game this week. This is a signature football game for Nebraska to make people start talking about them and get them in the top 20.
Okay, so Nebraska, Kansas.
Yep. And then Dave and I talked about this for an hour. App State.
Yeah.
They're going to cover the 17. I don't know if they're going to win outright.
They're
I'm telling
winning.
you what, App State is covering that line.
App
That's
State,
money.
App State is coming.
That's money. App State's coming like a hammer. They
Yeah.
do that against the big boys.
They got
Anything in the NFL for you this week?
Well, like I said, I just like Atlanta. I like Atlanta a lot. Other than that, I'm not a big, NFL guy. But I will say one other game I did like. I like the Seahawks at home against Denver.
I looked
in
at that.
that 6 point. I do like Seattle in that game.
Okay.
Okay, so those are my two NFL.
Dave, any thoughts to add in the NFL this week?
Nothing off the top of my head other than
We're the college guys,
Okay. That's all right. No, you gave a 6-pack. That's a
Detroit-
beautiful thing.
Detroit's hosting. Detroit's playing Sunday night against the Rams.
Correct.
I ain't gonna lie. Stafford coming home again, or I guess we're going to go see Stafford.
Yeah.
We're gonna get tested.
Oh, it's going to be a great game.
Puka's coming out. Cooper Kupp's healthy.
It's the best matchup of the weekend when you think about it.
All right, I'm going to give a few college picks here.
Detroit takes it.
Staying on the same lines that you were with Nebraska, I like the over in that game. Colorado
Oh, for
plays
sure.
zero defense.
For sure. That's an up and down, right? Track me.
Nebraska showed the ability to score some points last week, putting up 40 against UTEP.
Yeah.
The number's 59. Give me over the total in Nebraska, Colorado on Saturday. That's one of my picks. Number 2, I am on USF this week. I don't think Alabama looks at revenge games and this and that.
SOUTH.
So I'm on USF this week at getting 31.5 at
Oh, yeah.
Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. I
That's-
looked at that.
that
I'm
is-
not saying
I
they're,
looked
I'm
at
not
is-
saying they're winning.
That is my
They're covering.
underdog.
covering
That
for
is
sure.
my underdog play of the week.
Yeah, they're covering for sure.
Another play of mine that will
Let's
be
go
in
Bulls.
my top 3. Oregon State at home, laying 2. Get it at 2 before it goes up against a Texas Tech team that looked so bad against Abilene Christian last week. They gave up like 615 yards to Abilene Christian.
Always love the Beaver after they
Give
leave a
me
Christian
Oregon
college.
State minus the 2
I did not even look at that game, Sean,
against Texas
but
Tech.
that's why you're the professor.
So that's
yeah.
2 of my picks. And the third one is give me Tulane. I'm taking Tulane, plus what I think is just a little over 2
Green
touchdowns
Wave.
at
Green
home
Wave.
against a very good Kansas State team. But a lot of people think that this Tulane team could be the group of 5 team to come out. I'm not going to argue with that thought.
Either that or Boise.
And Boise didn't impress me at all last week, giving
No.
up 45 to Georgia Southern.
Not only that, but that defense looks slow and small.
Correct.
I mean, slow and small.
So those are my 3 picks of the week. So it's Oregon State, it's Tulane, and what else did I say? Oh, USF's my dog, and what was my other one?
No, you're forgetting already. You're showing your age,
I'm getting
man.
old, man.
Jeez,
And
Pete.
take a flyer on Tennessee this week. I like Tennessee against NC State. In the pros, I'm big on the Raiders.
I knew you were going to say that.
At the Chargers, it's going to be a Raiders home field game.
I knew you were going to say that.
I'm all over the Raiders this week. I'm big on the under in the Steelers game, and we'll go from there. Hey, we're going to wrap it up. It's the Florida Gambling Boys YouTube channel, Football Frenzy from the Seabreeze Lounge. Again, guys, give us a like and a subscribe. Go on there. It doesn't cost you anything. It really helps our channel and promotes our algorithm and whatnot with YouTube. If you can, we appreciate it. We'll be live next week on Wednesday. Super Dave Kreitz, Midwest Tommy Tice. I am the magnificent one, Sean Mayall. We will see you next Wednesday from the Seabreeze Lounge. Guys, have a great weekend. Cash those tickets.